ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, TheScoreEsports.com, G2A, NVIDIA, and ESEA.
Good evening and welcome to the ESL Pro League. Another day of CS is upon us. I'm Alex Machine Richardson and I've got Halvor Vendetta Gullestol and Lauren Pansy Scott hanging out to break down and also go over not only today's games but also what happened yesterday. We like to go ahead and start our show by reminding you guys about what you may have missed because we have been bringing you a whole lot of CS recently. It's easy to get a little lost, so we're going to go ahead and immediately start our show by reminding you what you missed yesterday because it was a very, very exciting day. We got to see a couple of underdogs rising and biting back. Underdogs maybe being a bit of a strong word, but we did get to see G2 and Dignitas go 1-for-1. Overpass going the way of Dignitas, which actually surprised a lot of you guys on the desk.
Well, it felt like it was the wrong way around almost, didn't it?
Yeah.
It felt like, well, Dig should have a chance on Inferno. Maybe they could, pick something up here, but then actually G2 just locked it down, and then you'd think Overpass. Dig had a really bad run with Na'Vi there, haven't shown much prowess on it, and hey, welcome to all the big factors that work for Dig.
And talking of surprising results, I mean, look at NIP. A 16-6 victory on Cash, no less, Halvor.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest upset of the night. I guess not necessarily that they could win, because we've seen results from NIP on that map in the past, but the way they did it. So that was a pretty dominant win, and it's like, yes, I think Sumler mentioned it yesterday, if you don't get 7-8 rounds, you've been stomped.
Okay, stomped during the hot match of the week, of course, proudly brought to you by The Score Esports. And those were our 4 games. Fnatic definitely stabilizing on Inferno, being like, yeah, okay, come on now. Let's stop being silly. And we saw what Fnatic are capable of. And let's remind ourselves where that puts NIP, Fnatic, G2, and Dignitas after those games yesterday. We can look at those standings, and you can see what the landscape is for today's Counter-Strike extravaganza. Astralis still holding that top spot, but there are NIP hitting that double digits. That big win has put them in good stead for getting to those finals. Now we looked at their games. There's 2 very winnable games with Flipside still waiting in the wings to battle with the Swedes. Alongside that, you can still see G2 who managed to secure that extra spot as well. So all good in the hood for those standings, and that leads us into today's games. We're going to dive straight into them, guys. We're going to have to discuss a little bit because we're seeing a whole lot of G2 recently, Lauren.
Yeah, we are. And to be fair, they've been rising in my expectations, I think is the best way to put it. A good couple of results coming through that's actually indicated they are picking up some of the pace and looking like they could be a real contester in this entire league. However, this is one of the big challenges on the way. Facing off against FaZe now, it's a bit of a rivalry, I guess, due to one specific member, which we can come to eventually, I'm sure, but good maps to watch it go down on. G2's specialty, seemingly, is Cash, coming up recently, and Dust too, known previously to have some really nice plays on, but FaZe have been up and down, so a lot of factors in this matchup.
Yeah. Up and down is right. I mean, I'm just looking at the standings there. They're saying at 3 wins, 5 losses, Halvor. There's no way to cut it finer than just saying they need this win.
Yeah, no, they definitely need this win, and I guess the good thing for them right now is that their last loss versus Na'Vi, but even though they lost, they looked like a competent team, even though they were losing. So, and I think they took it to overtime on Dust 2 versus Na'Vi. Which is no
don't do it.
No bad task at all.
All I have is my book, and then anything beyond that.
It just flies right over.
Oh, you go for a book, I go for a sheet of paper. I like the book.
Thank you.
Looks good. Might have to invest.
I have my snooze box.
That's it. That's all he needs. All his power is in
pretty much. Yeah, it's in my snooze. Without it, I'm powerless. But no, FaZe definitely looked better because we were talking about it going into that Na'Vi FaZe game that FaZe hasn't really shown anything to somewhat remind us of what they did at Cluj.
Yeah, and this is the thing. It's been weird, hasn't it? Because everyone kind of looked at like the addition of the coach. Does that change every dynamic? But they came out and said we'd be nothing without the coach being there. Robin's brought us together. He makes us play a better game. It's maybe rounded them out as a team, but there is question marks, and a couple of the players have been very quiet in comparison to what they kind of shone.
No, absolutely. But again, with bringing in a coach and someone who has a different way of looking at the game, and I think a very different idea of how to play things from what the just original 5 FaZe members would have. that's going to take some adjusting for them. But yeah, showing upside to what they've been doing as of late in the last couple of games. But I still think G2 should have a pretty decent chance at taking Dust 2. The only problem for them is, I believe in everyone on that team. I have unwavering faith in those guys for some reason.
Is this that thinking with your heart and not your head sometimes, Halvor? Is that sometimes the case?
When it comes to G2, I do that way too much. But no, I legitimately think they've been playing pretty well as of late, and it's showing. They're sitting third right now in the standings, so that's not too shabby. But the big problem for them in pretty much every game, even if they won, has been their CT sides, and that's something they can't really give up so easily when they're going up against FaZe, and it's what lost them Dust 2 versus Mousesports in the Malmo qualifier.
And should have lost them cash yesterday as well.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you go 12-3 down. We didn't touch on that game coming up as well. It was versus SK. SK battling today as well versus Mousesports, which, I mean, a little preview of that one. You got to say, we need to see SK be able to finish games, first of all. I mean, you pick up a 12-3 half.
You'd expect to
close it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're in a bit of a downtrodden state, and we're looking forward to seeing not only what they can do against Mousesports, but also Nico and the crew, see if they can continue to rise the ranks. They're in need of a win as well. Both FaZe and Mousesports are kind of at the lower half of those standings, and so these games are going to be very, very crucial as we do come into our match day 17. It has been a long one, but this is going to be the first official game between these two teams in 2016. It's going to be exciting to see how they do meet. I mean, there's been a lot of development on both sides. Is that a fair kind of way to describe them? Like, FaZe have been trying to change a lot, like you highlighted with Rob and with this coach role, with changing positions on maps as well. Dust 2, the playground. Let's talk about Dust 2, Halvor.
Dust 2, as we know, pretty good map for a team like FaZe. We actually, bringing it back to the Na'Vi FaZe game, we talked about, could the potential, the addition of Robin actually mess up some of that magic that FaZe's players would have on an open map like that. Didn't seem to affect them too much. So yeah, it's still going to be a good map for FaZe. For them, it's going to be more down to how they can actually execute together as a team, pretty much, if they can actually play well as a team. And that comes down to communication, which, with the lineup with multiple nationalities, always going to be a bit of an issue.
It can be a problem, yeah. But for me, it's also going to come down to that Smiths and Fox dynamic, because Smiths, this is one map where I see him actively taking fights. Even on the CT side on Dust 2, he will actively go to those double doors and take the fight and generally actually win it out. He's been very, very proficient at that. However, outside of Dust 2 recently, and these occasional maps here and there, his performance has been a little bit questionable. You looked at it merely a couple of days ago, and even in the last game he played, Smiths wasn't present, which is a big problem. Now, Dust 2, I feel, could be an issue, because if Fox and that have the freedom to take over mid, start getting up short, that's a big amount of the map control just gifted over. So Smiths needs to be on point, and this is a playground for him to do well in. And actually, expanding that to the rest of G2, they are, I wouldn't say pioneers, but they've had some really nice kind of plays. They were the one team that I always looked at who had that kind of B tunnels take very early on the CT side, always kind of like countering the pressure from mid takes, which is really enjoyable to watch. So yeah, I think this could be a really interesting matchup, but again, this comes down to individual players. So for me, Smiths is one to watch, to be able to actually take that fight onto Fox. And Shox, how much can he get away with the lurking that we saw hammer the likes of Tempo Storm during their games? Because this was one of the big maps where he really came into his own. I'm
glad you mentioned individuals. Two other individuals we want to discuss is Scream and Jacom on either side. We're expecting these aimers to go head-to-head. Scream, of course, Adil, I'm not going to try it. Why did I try?
Why? Oh, try his.
Hang on, wait. I've got a Norwegian next to me. Let me have a go. No.
No, come on, give it a
Go on,
Joachim Mibrostad.
Where did you get the second R?
Mibro. I don't know. I just wanted to sound Scandinavian. I tried. Can you give it to me? Go.
Joachim? Myrbostad.
Yeah, okay. Joachim.
Nice.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Thank you very much. Yeah. But yeah, these are the two we wanted to highlight, and I'll let you start with the Norwegian. I know you know him very well.
Yeah, now obviously Jacob had an amazing Cluj, dipped down in form after that, and has been slowly playing better and better and better. I still don't think he's gotten quite into the shape that we need him to be in. A FaZe that are going to be contenders and do well at a majors and that type of stuff. And hell, if they're even going to qualify for the offline stages of Pro League, he's going to need to step it up. And I think the time might not be on his side as of right now, but he's getting back into form.
I remember, see, this is so weird, because when I did the Katowice offline qualifiers 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, whenever it was,
a while ago.
not this Katowice, the last Katowice offline qualifiers, I was talking to you, you were observing at the time.
Yeah.
And I just remember I was filling in for Lauren because her eye was all gunky. And I
Can
was
you
like,
not?
just in case you guys had forgotten, there's a picture of it where it just looks, she looks like a
Yep.
superhero. But anyway, I was talking to you,
zombie.
and the first thing you said is keep your eyes on this Jacob guy because he was he wasn't unknown, but he was lesser known than he is now.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of belief in this guy. Now, you fast forward a year and he is in FaZe. He's in one of the top teams currently competing. They only have to prove it, though, against G2.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to come down to it. But he has a lot of talent. We've seen what he can do when he reaches full potential.
Yeah.
But FaZe did go into a bit of a lull where they just didn't play it enough. And I think for a lot of those guys, they actually need to be very active, get 60+ hours over 2 weeks in all the time. Otherwise, they're going to dip in form. And that's what happened when we saw the massive downfall of FaZe after Cluj. Why they decided to take a bit of a break, not sure. But I think they definitely need to be just be hyper active the entire time and just play.
Yeah, and for me, of course, looking at Scream, who's on the other side of the graphic, it's his ex-team. If there's a point to be proven, they haven't had a chance to meet in a while. You're like, all right, let me step up, because he is an individual who's quite emotionally invested as well. If you ever watch his streams or speak to him individually or even just follow his Twitter and stuff, he is quite an emotional player when it comes to these things. So it may not necessarily affect how he plays the game, but it's certainly giving his mind these are my ex-teammates. I need to show that I made the right choice, and this was the right move for me to get into G2 here. So this is gonna be a fun matchup.
Yeah.
I feel.
I think actually all of the G2 guys has that kind of a mentality. You can tell when Shox and Smiths were playing versus Envy last week. It's something triggers inside of them, and they're like, we're not losing.
Which I think is going to be an awesome thing to watch, especially on Dust 2, which is I guess, classically known as the aim map, right? Good aimers always have a strong game on it. So this could be fun, because you've got the likes of Scream, who's renowned for it, right? The headshot machine. You've got Shox, who's no slouch. And then on the other side, you've got the all-star lineup, right? The one that came together that no one really thought could work, but somehow has formed into this weird hybrid team that actually does perform. So some really sick stuff. But the one thing I would say is G2 ended up struggling on their T side previously in getting entries through some of the offline events, and then they kind of grind down to this halt. And it was actually Existence who had to then kind of take over the opening kills and kind of getting into these sites, especially against the likes of Tempo Storm. He was the one at the forefront who got the 2 kills on Long that opened it up. RPK was assisting in that one. And then Existence did end up pushing through on the B tunnels, getting the 2 there. So if any of you did watch that game or remember it, he was the one who got them back into it. He got it as close as it was. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that could go wrong for G2 here, but they have a lot of players who could step up to that plate as well. So it's going to be great to watch.
Yes, well, I mean, it's going to be a spectacle to behold. There's no doubt about it. And fast forwarding, of course, into our next game as well on Cash. Which one's the better chance for FaZe? We've highlighted they need a big win here. We're already suggesting this kind of leans towards FaZe's favor. Is that the vibe I'm getting from the desk?
I actually feel both maps are pretty good for FaZe. We know that FaZe have... we didn't see it versus SK because they got very stagnant in how they played their T side, but we know that FaZe are a team that can perform on Cash, and we know that they can perform on Dust too. So I would say that both maps are actually pretty even in terms of who can run away with it.
I can't see past the Cash from yesterday from G2.
There's only one side.
But yeah, that's
one
the
CT
key
side
thing, because they lost 12 rounds to SK. If they play like that versus a team like FaZe, then...
But that was SK with this kind of constant B hit, and it's not everyone's
I guess that's the opposite of what FaZe does.
Yeah, and looking at G2, FaZe, the one who only knows one bomb site. The problem with G2 is on their CT side as well, they are very consistent in what they do, but not necessarily into a good degree. It's, okay, when Shock's going to rush mid with the MP9, or is he going to get pop flashed in main with the MP9 and just sit on that throughout the game? They are relatively static. Smiths has been quiet. A lot of the big teams now are stepping up with the AWPers on this map, whether it was, you look at NIP, it was actually Pit picking up rather than Forest in the game we watched against Fnatic, which was kind of weird, but it worked out. But if Smiths isn't performing, that's a massive piece lost in what G2 needs to take on the likes of FaZe. So, I don't know. G2, I think, have a shot on Dust 2, but I think Cash, one side is great, but I think there's too many factors against them in this that could go wrong.
So yeah, the firm belief seems to be that FaZe have got more of a shot on Dust 2, and that's of course
at least from me. I don't know.
From you. However, you're feeling kind of more. You said it's more equal.
I think it's pretty much down to how they play. Like if it's we've seen
lots of
G2,
ifs and buts.
we've seen G2 take the CT set versus Envy 12-3 on Cash, but we also seen them lose 3-12 versus SK. So what do you make of that? Right. That's the issue with them.
I love that there are some teams now, and it has got to this stage where sometimes you're at an analyst desk, and they sit there and they go, well, sometimes they're really good and sometimes they're really bad, and I don't know how I'm supposed to analyze that.
Well, because it does sometimes come down to individuals having a good game, or just everything working, communication being on point. Maybe they put in the hours to watch these guys' demos, instead they're going, okay, well, we've now learned a few tendencies, and actually we can work from that. Okay, well, how did they play against this, and maybe build something from it. But if they've gone, okay, screw it, let's just do a bit of warm up, bit of DM, you don't know what you're going to get, because you look at Fnatic on the map against an IP, because I was a biased caster.
That's right.
Fnatic didn't look warmed up at all in the first 6 rounds. Like, they were missing shots that they hit every single day of the week, which was weird. Even though me and someone sat there like, what?
Who's sitting in these seats?
Yeah, it was like JW like trying to take that pick onto B in the first. I think it was like the first kind of like quasi weird buy. They had one rifle coming through, and he just completely whiffs it. And there were some moments that were really kind of questionable. Maybe Fnatic going, actually, we just wanted to take a little bit of a break, right, just to sit back for a second because we're hammering it, and then we'll pick it up before the major. Completely viable, but you don't know what shape these teams are necessarily coming into this match.
This leads nicely into what Halvor was saying earlier about the fact that he thinks FaZe sometimes, they took a break that you weren't sure about, but also, how much are FaZe actually playing at the moment. Yeah. This is where I'd like to start the discussion. Never mind. I was about to start a discussion. I didn't know when the game was about to start, but I've just discovered it's about to begin. We will come back to that discussion because there's a lot surrounding this kind of playing too much, overplaying, playing enough, and of course putting in your hours. It's a full-time job for a lot of these guys. But we'll discuss it later. For now, we are going to bring you your first game of the day here for match day 7 of the ESL Pro League. Casting it is going to be D-Man and Semler. Take it away, you two.
Thank you very much, guys. So, yes, G2 FaZe. They kind of seem split on the desk. I'm a little unsure on this one. It's a pretty even matchup, I would say. In terms of G2, they're at 10-6. They want to win. They want to win this. If they come out with the 2-0 in this, they're looking very good for qualification.
Yeah. Well, I think when we were going over the stats yesterday together, it's just like across the board, if you're getting into that 5 to 6 range, that's pretty much where you have to put a stop.
Yeah.
You got to put a kibosh on that and start getting some wins. 6 is about the cutoff, for the LAN.
For FaZe, if they're 3-5, so if they suddenly go down to 7 losses, they're doomed. Yeah,
they have such a huge uphill battle after that. So, yeah, I mean, FaZe are going to be feeling the pressure. Both of these teams are around like the 10 rank, somewhere around there between the two of them.
Breaking into top 10.
Yeah, right now Thorin has G2 at 10, I think, and then FaZe obviously they don't really have many results to go off of, so they're a bit lower. But they're about even as far as skill is concerned between. So this should be a close series. I think a lot of this is just going to come down to what the impact that Robon has for FaZe, because AZ the other day was tweeting, if it weren't for Robon, this team probably would have fallen apart. I mean, it doesn't really sound like they've got that confidence going right now on the Norwegian, Swedish, Portuguese mix.
Yeah, I mean, and if you look at like historically between the two, FaZe have done all right on Dust 2. They went overtime with Navi last time they played it. G2 are actually done very well on Dust 2 recently. Some very good results. Barcelona against Astralis. They went into overtime, lost that one, but then they won the second time around, got against them. So they certainly have it in them. Spoke to Astralis at the party, actually, and they were just saying, they were talking about RPK at long. They're just like, we didn't want to go long in the end. It got to the stage where we were fearful of heading down long. Obviously, Smith's had a massive impact in that game as well, so they're going to be looking to him to try and step up when they get on that CT side. Kept Device very much in control, actually, throughout that matchup. But here we go. Knife round has been complete, and we're going into the pistol. It is going to be FaZe starting out the CT, G2 on the T side. And it does look like it's going to be a fairly standard pistol from them. We're going to get a bit of utility from Existence.
Are we going to get something out of Scream, though? Is it going to be we have a pause coming in, it looks like. So a little bit of time, and yeah, okay, second man is going to be picking up the utility there. That's what I was wondering about. Scream was sitting for a little bit. He could have gone Tech 9 smoke, maybe drop that Tech 9 over to Shoxy or something like that. But instead, it's just going to be full utility across the board for both of these players with Kevlar to complement. FaZe, however, just a single man bot up. It's
throwing pistols back
probably
and forth.
Fox going for the kit. No kit. FaZe are just like, yeah, straight up fight. We're not looking to actually, let you plant that bomb. We're going to stop you before you get close.
Well, let's see if they do. Once that pause has been cleared, let's see if they can stop them. USPS has, of course, been very successful. We're going to see G2 Glock train. They've got the 2 smokes. There's the decoy gone down already, down in towards Suicide. Makaleli trying to get some of those taps. Probably going to be trying to do the same thing with Scouts and Orps later on, but it is going to be a fairly default setup from both teams. And G2 just going to sit and try and run the clock down a bit.
Yeah, there's one of those flashes going off, trying to force the angle. Allows for Michael to take a few pot shots. They're spotting 3, actually.
Makaleli going to get the taps in. doesn't matter. It's actually Fox who we want to check out. Rain's also just dropped straight down as well. Rain's going to be the man that's going to first see the heads, and he does. Fox is going to land it, gets himself a second and a third, clocking out G2. 3 simple headshots. Well, he makes it look simple. They're not so simple when you do them yourself, of course. And Shox, last man, and I don't think they used a single one of those smokes they had there. I don't think they actually managed to get it out. Fox just basically stopped them dead in their tracks, and going to be doing exactly the same with the AWP when he gets a hold of it.
Jacob, he's rocking the Bowie fade. Okay, then.
Just showing off his new purchase, yeah. Or maybe he got given it to him. You never know with these players.
No, he probably won it on some gambling site, right?
Yeah. I mean, I did have the conversation with Kenny at Katowice, saying, it's like, have you ever been offered one of those, you know, an AWP, a Dragon Lore with your signature on it? He's like, I'm not going to throw 10k or something at that. It's like, no way. One of the signature editions, but there should be an Eco Bash. They have managed to get the 1-man down long, but Rain's been taken out. Suddenly it's become very interesting. AZ and Makalele on the rotate, unsure exactly where this is coming from, but Shox with the bomb. He's heading straight over to B side. RPK's cut out AZ. That was through double doors. And Makalele, last man standing, he's got a hell of a job to do.
And this is a problem on communication, I think, between G2. The fact that they challenged the angle when Shoxy had the deagle there, and he was just holding that deagle. So peeking into an angle that is being held by a deagle, you have to assume that the headshot can happen, right? And it's a high risk as well when you're talking about Shoxy on the other side of it. He's been hitting shots the past few days, but even then, you just hear that deagle. You need to say, okay, now we don't face. We don't face. I'm just going to hold a passive angle, and I'm going to watch my teammates back who's in pit and make sure that they can't get the pit. And if Shoxy wants to come and take a fight with the dig, then he's got to move. I'm not just going to peek into him. And 2 times Shoxy managed to get a kill off of somebody just challenging that angle. And yeah, that's unforgivable. FaZe, they get punished in the end.
And this should have been exactly what the second round was like for FaZe, but instead it's G2 with the massacre. That Mac 10 doing work. He's going to have to push through. Puts the smoke down, tries to play with it, push on through, but Shox and Smiths lock it down. And Makalele, well, you know, he almost got the Penta. Let's say Penta, that's the League of Legends side of me coming out, isn't it? The ace. The 5-man. But actually, it was Scumbag Rain, wasn't it?
I was
That
going
blocked
to say,
him out. Oh, no, it was Fox. It was Fox. It's Fox that blocked it, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was in that 4v5 horrific match against NIP. And see, he's got it in him. Totally got it in him.
Unfortunately, it's, yeah, no gun for you to pick up there, mate. Both rifles on the other side, but I mean, FaZe should still be able to. They should still be feeling all right about this. They got 3 kills out of this force buy. I mean, they lost the pistol, or they won the pistol, lost the second round, but at least they're making it a little bit more expensive here for G2. If only they could have found one of these rifles, that'd be pretty nice right now. But Michael is just going to play it safe, hold on to the Kevlar. Now, well, 2,600 on him. It's, I mean, obviously another round of eco here coming from FaZe. So I'm curious if FaZe are going to try and go for something crazy right now, just straight up YOLO rush somewhere on the map, maybe boost a couple onto Cat, try and get Michael up there with the deagle quickly. You know, see if they can't just take the fight a little bit more aggressively towards G2 right now, because they can't really let G2 get too comfortable. And they really aren't going to be able to afford any firepower here, so you might as well try and do something creative. And yeah, Michael is going to get boosted up onto Catwalk. So that deagle's going to be able to get into mid and maybe take a fight here with Smiths. We'll see if he's lucky.
It's a very good tag, but couldn't finish him off. Makalele gets away. Just 35 health. Smiths does get a little peek out there, but Jacob doing work from straight down long range stuff. That wasn't even up close and personal. Gets himself a double, and well, the rotate's coming through. That grenade's going to do a little bit of damage, but Smith's only on 2 from that exchange with Makalele early on. G2 in trouble.
Jacob, Kerrigan just gave you the nod. Just like, very good, Jacob, very good. Used Kerrigan's old spot behind the car, behind the smoke. Can't believe that still works, but Jacob gets 2 kills out of it. When you got aim like him with that P250, you're doing so much damage. By the time that G2 figure it out, they've already lost Scream in existence.
I think Rain just showed his shoulder to RPK there. See if he's not going to check the corner, and suddenly RPK's in trouble. He gets away with it, though, with a quick flick onto Rain. And now this is dangerous. While Fox is only on 1, both Smiths and RPK, just one body shot almost from that, especially from Makalele's deagle. If he can land it, and there's Fox managing to take down Smiths as a second challenge comes in, but it's RPK. He's trying to bully his way through, but Shox is going to kick around the side, and he will get himself 1. And now it's AZ, long range, gets the tap, but that USPS can't do that much damage from range, and Shox will save a little bit of time for G2. Plant comes in. Has AZ got anything he can collect around here? There's a Mac 10.
Throw it away.
I'm going to say it's not exactly useful from this range. And he finds himself the AK. Okay. 1 tap. That's all he needs. Is Shox in the mood to give anything away in this game? And it's not. He's turned up to play. And that's actually one of the big win conditions for G2. If Shox has turned up ready and waiting to go, and it looks like he has at 7 kills already, he's going to cause some serious problems for FaZe.
Yeah, he is definitely going to be able to take over the map on Dust 2. Dust 2 has always been one of his stronger maps personally. Like, just individual performances from him have always been pretty solid on this map. Same to be said for Smiths, even though we aren't really seeing too much from Smiths right now. There was a time way back in the day when he was very, very dangerous with that AWP on this map. Now, however, RPK at long, he's going to be starting off strong. Fox hanging around a bit too long. Nice flashes, and RPK with the triple.
Long's open, guys. Nobody here. And this was the first rifle round for FaZe, and they've just not made a dent. Makalele gets himself the one on screen, but he is done and dusted. And having to back away, and bomb's heading its way across Catwalk. It's Shox, by the looks of it, that's going hunting. Yes, it is. Shox wants to find the kill. Now he knows where Makalele is. Position given away. Just slowly work this one out. Thank you very much. Is he going to push through that smoke? Going to try and distract it. Draws the attention. There is a little gap he can creep through, and that's what he's going for. Makalele. Is he going to try and push on through? Oh.
What is this? The silliness.
The flash out. That's so... Smith is going to be so angry with that one. He didn't have an AWP on him. I think Existence has already traded with him. There we go. Shox does pick it up. A little bit of cat and mouse there. Makalele getting about as much as they can out of it, but not a good first rifle round for FaZe at all.
No, they just got overwhelmed. They hung around too long. I think, well, I mean, basically, FaZe, they're not expecting G2 to go for the rush, basically. So G2 going for the straight-up, full flash rush, 3 guys out really quickly behind RPK, who's going in as that entry man. They were not expecting that because the man on pit, he just died instantly. He didn't even make it into pit. And from there, he might have been able to help out Fox. But, yeah, it's just a poor decision there from FaZe to stick to it.
But this time, obviously, it was pistols, but it's very much a similar case. And Long is very much theirs to be had. RPK's sitting, waiting. Smiths, you can see, just nailed that shot down middle. RPK was there for the expecting the backstab through tunnels, actually, but didn't come. And stat padding round there for everyone on G2. 5-1, great start, but now double AWP coming out from FaZe. This is the one they have to get. They have to get themselves some rounds on the board.
More importantly, that was an eco padding round. Because right now, that's Shoxy and RPK both started this round off with 9,000 in the bank. They all have more than enough to full buy in the next round. And FaZe missed a golden opportunity after those 2 losses, but one of them, it was 2 players surviving on G2. The next one, it was only Shoxy surviving, right? So they had to use a lot of bank. So had FaZe picked up that last rifle round, there was a chance that they could have forced G2 onto eco, and then from there they can start rolling and getting some momentum on that CT side. Now, it's nothing but tough work from here on out. They have all the pressure on them now to perform this round. They really need to put a stop to G2 here.
G2 respecting the fact that FaZe will have weapons again, not charging out, but it's Existence of Scream. They're pushing out along here. Shox is going to push his way around Catwalk, and they've already managed to get out there. Fox completely blinded up. It's going to get a vision, but it's all it saw was the AK bullet coming straight to his brain from Scream. And they are in no mood to mess around down long, pushing through the smokes with great flash control. And again, they have total control of it, but Makalele holding the line. They haven't actually got across onto the site yet, and it may well do. And there's the bomb getting transferred across. Shox should be able to click that without being touched, and that's going to be the plant down.
Yeah, easy. And at this point, FaZe should just be backing off. Unfortunately for them, they're going to get pinched in here by RPK. So you guys can see that RPK is waiting to punish anybody who pushes up onto Catwalk. AZ catches Shox overextending. Shox, he commits to it. Instead of just going for the shoulder peek and just seeing, okay, is anybody there, backing off, staying on the site and staying alive, he actually commits to the fight there with AZ, and that ends up costing him. But still, FaZe, they just don't have enough time to go for the retake in this scenario.
Oh, still going to be the... Chose to peek low. Makalele went high and caught RPK out, but it's just a little bit of economical damage. But they're not going to be hurting from that because they are all stacked up 4 or 5k across the board for G2, and they're going to pick up the round win. They are in a very, very good position right now. FaZe, they're going to have to try and make some serious use of this AWP in the next round with the rifle. Let's see whether are they going to try and send it long, because they've just been losing out on long doors every single time.
Yeah, G2 have done a very good job of taking in the last round as well. When they managed to get Existence and Smith out, or Existence and RPK, it was Existence and RPK. Yeah. They get them out, and then instead of just rushing out into the open, they wait for a flash and peek Jacob. Jacob was blind the entire push. Like, he had no idea. Even when he died, he was just, gone. He was just white the entire time. Like, that's a really sick take on G2's part. They're just like what we saw in Cash yesterday, they're really starting to refine their game with some very clean executes here to get control of certain parts of the map.
And for an entry fragger, I mean, it's just perfect. If you can go in and everybody's completely smoked and blinded, you're just like, it's free kills. And then suddenly it starts to make those guys look absolutely amazing. You see, obviously, Scream going and finding the heads. RPK doing the same. This time around, choosing to switch it up. And you can just look on the minimap at FaZe. They're trying to stack up and set up for this one. Jacob and Fox desperate to try and hold this long side. And G2 are like, you know what? You can put all the resources you want there. We're just going to go catwalk instead.
Yeah, this is FaZe trying to take a bit more of a catch-all approach. They've called it that G2 are going to pull off that long aggression, and so Rain getting into catwalk, getting into CT, trying to keep eyes on that mid split in case G2 try and get some mid control and go towards that B split. Instead, it's Michael catching out Shoxy, who was lurking in upper dark. Michael not in a spot that Shoxy was expecting there to start. There's the flash from RPK though, and not sure he didn't spot Rain. And this is huge for Rain. Rain can get this backstab on him. He should be able to actually just get out here and get the kill, and it's an easy job done.
Oh, and that's 3 members all on the catwalk as well. Ball G2 completely flashed up by Fox. Fox did a great job at delaying him, and look at FaZe on the minimap. They're all rallying into position, and this 3-stack of G2 all pushing into sight is going to be equally met. FaZe have passively approached this one. Jacob and Fox are both backed around the corner on long, and they're waiting for everybody to get in position. Makalele, Rain, and AZ all stacked just as CT spawn, about ready to explode in there. They're going to come 5-man execute onto this one. Existence with the spray down. Doesn't manage to get them all, but Smiths and Scream doing the work, and suddenly, just 3 on 5, they hold that site perfectly. Such a well-executed crossfire as they all tried to push up.
It's so hard to get that timing right for FaZe. Clearly, they all want to just try and come crashing out of CT at the same time, out of the CT ramp onto long. Unfortunately, the 2 guys at long, they come around that smoke before their teammates are even halfway up CT ramp, and so it's 2 easy kills there. And then as they come around, 3 easy kills of the remaining 3 from FaZe. Just a little bit of a disjointed push together there. No flashes, no nothing thrown in either. I mean, yeah, just a little bit too straightforward. You're not going to be able to punish G2 that way.
Let's see if Scream can punish the aggression there. Saw the man. Shox has managed to get himself onto platform already. Rain and AZ are here. He's got Existence behind him, but big tag onto Shox there. Rain's going to try and push on through the CZ, and he manages to find and gets them both. Existence and Shox down, and suddenly with the pistols, it's gone completely array, and RPK is going to have to pick up something. He saw Makalele there, should be able to deal with him, but no! Makalele lands the shot. All the jewels are going the way of FaZe, and G2, what looked to be an absolute cruise round for them, has just gone horribly, horribly wrong.
This is what happens when you have the pistols. You lose the fear. Like, you just start playing crazy CS, right? Like, because you just feel like, all right, it's all or nothing. Boys, step out there, get the shots, and we're probably going to die. We're probably going to lose this round. And that's what happens in these kinds of pistol rounds. Is G2, it's a combination of the T side running in there and just, not taking it as seriously as they should, and then this lack of fear on FaZe that just allows them to challenge and win duels. Like Rain right there, Rain and Jacob, between the 2 of them, Jacob took a lot of damage, but Rain getting those 2 kills, that's just him playing it smart and facing and landing, just getting the headshots.
Yeah, and he pushed through the molly as well. It's like, obviously the molly, they're not expecting anyone to just charge through, and he just leapt on through. And now Scream's position is known. He is pinned in. Fox is coming up behind him. He needs to land this spray and start tapping away, getting those famous 1-taps up to work. But Rain pops out, gets himself a 3rd for the round, and what a round it was for FaZe. Gets them right back in there. They recovered 4 AKs throughout that round. So completely puts their bank in brilliant situation.
Yeah, that is about as good as it gets. Yeah, Rain, this is perfect. That's why that Molotov is so hard to hit. And they keep trying to throw it out there, G2, but to get it where there isn't space to stand right in front of the wall, usually Rain, you can just sit right there, and that Molotov isn't doing anything. So it doesn't look like G2 were expecting him to just peekaboo, pop up. They were thinking that Molotov had cleared out the spot, but so often you see pros, they just throw that Molotov too far, and then it's pretty much useless. Like, there's nothing really going on. So, right, that was a big round. I mean, just big round from Rain.
FaZe just triple stacked A there. Fox has actually just backed up there. They triple stacked A, totally expecting G2 to revert back to the tactic that was tried and tested and working so well for them. But it does look like G2 want to do a wraparound into B here. 4 members through tunnels. Makalele get attention getting drawn to Existence. He's the sole man over in towards mid, but it's AZ that's going to be busy, and oh my god, it's a massacre. Gets himself a triple straight away. Makalele holds the angle with that beautiful point disarray, gets himself another, and Existence, the only man standing. He's going to be able to get the bomb down as he gets tagged there by Fox on the way, and he'll get the plant, but that's about all. You'd expect these 3 members of FaZe to just pile on his position.
He's going to get, I mean, with the AWP, bomb is planted for him in a bit of a cheeky spot here. Oh, he misses the first shot. That would have been it. If he'd have hit that first shot, if it was a 1-on-2, he'd have had a chance. Now Existence knows, okay, time to back off and save the gun. That's all I can hope to do here.
Well, what a interesting. Okay, so I mean, G2 basically just like, okay, well, we've tried that tactic. Let's switch to a new one. Let's try and catch them out there. But I don't think they accounted for AZ getting the spray through the smoke as they just came piling on through. But G2 do just have enough. Here you go. There's the AZ.
Was it only a single flash that they used?
I think so. I don't think they had a great deal of utility going into it.
Smith has got two
Smith
flashes.
has got 2 flashes, yeah, but no, it was Existence that was down here, wasn't it? So it was Smith's, yeah.
Yeah,
So they could have done it.
Just a little bit too straightforward there from G2.
Well, they've triple stacked it again. This time Shox has got through.
Oh, 2-for-1 hit as well. Rain, low. That was a sick shot from Smith, although Jacob does manage to get a nice crisp headshot onto Scream. Not going to be good enough. 2-for-1 shot that wrecks you so hard, especially if you're the CT side, because you lose one and then you're on 16 HP. You're pretty much a dead man as soon as they come around the corner. They can't catch a break here, FaZe.
Smiths is looking down long. Makalele's about to peek it. That smoke down. They've actually left the bomb at the moment. G2 expecting the backstab. If you look at the minimap, you can see the way they've spread out all across the T-spawn. They're totally expecting FaZe to do the wraparound around the back, but nobody coming. AZ's not going to peek. Makalele's not going to peek, and they're not falling into the trap, but there's still a minute on the clock. Plenty of time for G2 to play with here.
That's what G2 are thinking. You know, all right, we got all the time in the world, boys. Let's not run into it and get some crazy spray down from AZ where he gets another 3 or something along those lines. Let's see if we can't just catch somebody out. There's the info. Shoxy now knows that at least one is playing mid, and so it makes things a little bit more clear-cut here. They can start pushing up long, and that's what G2 are going to do.
Makalele's about to come from above. RPK is tucked in, but not going to find it. RPK on platform. My God, he's got a lot of work to do here. It's Existence and Smith's coming in. Still, they've left the bomb completely. They're not even bothered about the bomb right now. And, well, as you can see, it didn't really matter. They had their positions known, and G2 get themselves another T-side round and stop the rot, because FaZe was just starting to get a little bit comfortable there after that pistol round that completely went a mess. But now that's caused a problem. Look at this. We've got a Mag 7 coming out from Makalele. Is he going to be taking that to doors, I wonder, over on B side?
Question is, do they try and go and pressure Shoxy in upper dark right now? Man, Smiths is so on point with these tags. He keeps lighting up at least one player heading over to that B site. So AZ's down to half HP. Makalele with the Swag 7, he's just going to be holding close to upper dark. And Shoxy was even holding back. In case there was going to be some kind of aggression coming out, he was holding pretty far back in upper dark, and now he's all the way back into T-spawn. So they're just waiting to see if there's some kind of like desperate move from FaZe that's going to get made here.
FaZe have took a totally different approach on their A defense as well. They're just like, you know what, we're losing that damn door round every single time. They've come out on top once in the last 11 rounds, and G2 are actually very cautiously, because they're like, well, we've come out and there's no one here right now. They've got 4 members down long. Smiths is going to be the first man, but he's going to be in a straight-up AWP duel with Fox if he wants to take it.
Nice flash, but he doesn't peek behind it. That was a really delayed peek. If somebody was hiding on plateau, Fox was dead for sure. But he takes out Scream, so that works. Now, does he actually spot them making their way past? Unfortunately, that unscoped, it would have been perfect. Instead, he gets spotted. Now the pressure's on Fox. Molotov is going to go down, but he has space. He's all right. And now he just has to wait for the cavalry to come in. Misses the shot, and somehow that flash saves his life, but it's not going to be good enough in the end.
Jacob managing to land the shot. Existence is in a tricky spot in Goose, but Smith is there. Shox is on the wraparound as well. He's going to get around the back of Jacob. Jacob hears it, spins around, lands the shot in Existence. He's only got 6 health. He's going to get picked off by Makalele. Smith's now the last man standing with an AWP. Not the ideal situation. He's got 1 above, 1 below. Can't split his targets. And in the end, Jacob has an incredible hold there. Gets himself 3 from platform.
Nice, and now they've got a double opposite up here, so Makalele and Fox can use it. That's a windfall right there. That makes you feel good. If you have the option, if you have 2 players that can play op, getting the double like that, now they can get actually set up here, because they haven't been able to do this yet, FaZe. It's been Makalele opping, or it's been Fox opping, but again, the tag comes in from Smiths though. Luckily it's Makalele, so he can just go and sit on plateau behind headshot box and hold that angle with the op. So not the end of the world that he's low, but
look how aggressive they've gone. Scream actually is ironically going to be the man that finds him, and he's only got a P250. He should be able to get himself 1. Can't get the second. Nade comes through, but damage done. Gets himself an easy kill, and he was the only man not on a rifle. Now that may confuse G2 a little bit, but that won't. Smith catches AZ through the doors. He's already tagged up Makalele once as well, remember. And G2 taking the slow approach here may well economically cripple FaZe after this round if they can't pull something off. Jacob on the peak. Smith is just going to sit and wait on this one. Shox is going to be the man that goes aggressive. I think he might be piling on through. Jacob's going to smoke it up. Rain's about to get very busy. Shox' head in his scopes, and he will manage to find it. And G2, well, their advantage is now whittled away. They're down to a 3-3.
He's got 2 people. Why doesn't he ask for a flash? He's got 2 people sitting top mid, Shoxy. Why don't you ask for a flash? They just flash you in, and that never happens. Instead, now, yeah, it's a 3-on-3, and that gives FaZe a chance. So
This is going to take the slow approach down along with Existence. So Jacob is going to be, again, the man to watch, it seems. He managed to get a triple from this exact position last round.
they're going to be able to make it across here. They should be able to. Perfect smoke going down. Just the slightest gap to take advantage of here. He's not sure how close that catwalk man is, but Jacob is holding the long angle. Nice flash. And then you push on up, but then Rain catches out Smith's. Existence now, he's got to be wondering what is going to be happening here. 8 seconds left, and RPK finds a long-range duel. Now Existence can go for the plant, and Jacob's right on top of him. Existence hears the footsteps. He shouldn't be stepping up into this. He should be buying as much time as possible, or just go ahead and get the kill himself.
Just pop and face, why not?
But that was very well done there by G2 in the end.
So, FaZe in trouble. Just the 4K for Rain. Throw out some of those pistols. No. Okay.
No, they have to go for the buy-in. It's all or nothing time now. 14th round, 4-9. If they can get the remaining 2 rounds, FaZe, they should still be feeling all right. Because, you know, Dust 2 is still, you know, T-sided.
All Screaming Shox. Are they going to pile straight out? They are. It's going to be 4 members of FaZe down long here. Screaming Shox already out. Shox around the side, lining him up. Scream's getting the taps down. Goes for the spray down. There's a tap. That's what we're expecting. But Rain, the one man with the rifle, manages to hold them in the tracks. Now it's going to be all on Makaleli because RPK and Smith are rushing through tunnels. And Makaleli with that deagle, he can do some work here.
Getting the tag. He's going to drop him low, but the bomb gets out across now. Just hoping to get lucky there, and he's not going to manage it. Incendiary is going to stop him from really getting in there and doing damage. And the backstab from mid. Shoxy catches him looking the wrong way. So it's all on Rain, and he's going to get caught with a knife in hand. Not good enough. RPK will get the kill. And there's the key round, the big round for FaZe, where they take the risks, they go for the force buy, they really hope that they can pull it together, and it just falls flat. And where was Rain with that rifle? Rain, he's just holding the angle. Yeah, Scream was in the perfect spot. And Scream is just so lethal. That second shot onto the man in pit, he just snaps on like, bam, instant headshot.
Trying to use his teammates as bait, cannon fodder. Happy style, whichever way you like to look at it. But, okay, FaZe just going flat out aggressive here with pistols. Why not? They've got nothing to lose right now. And staring at an 11-4 possibility, or probability, I would say. As Rain's going to go looking for Scream. Smith's realize he's got someone behind him, which gives Scream the early advantage to know that Rain's trying to peek around. AZ's trying to push his position as well, but RPK sat ready and waiting, and, well, they got caught out once with the CZs. It doesn't look like it's going to happen a second time around as Scream puts pate to that one, and Makaleli and Fox the last 2 standing. So 11-4 in all likelihood, barring some magnificent pistol work here from the last 2. Is a very good T-side start here. I was watching the Counterpit games earlier on, and it was very much all CT-sided, but as was discovered, Virtus.pro had nothing on the T side. The question is, what have FaZe got on the T side?
Oh, Dust 2? Yeah, well, VP, it's not since, like, what, 2014 that they've had something on the T side.
Hey, they kept trying to tell us they were good at Dust 2.
It's been so long. It's weird how that happens as well, because for that period of time in 2013, early 2013, or 14 rather, going into Katowice, like, they had a crazy T-side Dust 2. Like, nobody could stop it. They would just run over everybody on that map. Like, you just insta-ban Dust 2 versus VP. And then it was like almost, you know, within the space of a month, they
forgot everything.
Forgot how to play the map or something. They just got figured out and were never able to adjust. So if VP are actually, you know, trying to force Dust 2, you know, that's a little scary. Oh. Yeah. I mean, FaZe, this is where Robon really comes into play, right? But for a team that is lacking confidence right now, just, you know, alone on its own, they're lacking the confidence. If they can't actually get things going here on the, you know, with a strong pistol round, I'm not seeing, you know, really good chances here for them to get a win on this first map versus G2.
All right, we're going to see a bit of a difference. G2 going for the kit. Remember, FaZe didn't bother. Then not a great deal of utility. Molly from Makaleli and a smoke, sorry. Where's he taking it? He's over at long at the moment. And it's Rain that's actually going to take the peak, but Shox and RPK are both staring at him. Existence already managed to land the one.
Yeah, and this is where it's nightmarish. They're looking to take these duels versus guys who have that confidence right now, who've just, you know, basically trounced you the entire first half. Do you really want to be going for duels, or do you want to just kind of try and, you know, get some map control, but then just barrel into them somewhere, group up and barrel in, and just hope that the Glock train is going to be enough to get you through? Because now it's not going to be as easy. The smoke goes down a block off headshot box. I mean, it opens it up for catwalk, but there's only a single man at long. 2 players sitting there at long right now. And I'm curious if Smith can actually back off to long as well to work with his mates. I mean, it seems like they are going to focus on catwalk here.
All right, well, there's the molly they had. Oh, wow, Smiths and Shocks. That's the end of that attack. Instant. And Rain, the last man standing, trying to tag out. Gets himself 2. RPK and Shocks down, but as you can see, the bomb left on the catwalk and Scream pops out and finishes the round. Very nice defense from G2, and that's a serious problem for FaZe. We could be looking at a big score here for G2 and Dust 2.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We can. They can be primed and ready to go now. And I mean, even FaZe are going to make it easier for them. FaZe going to go for the force buy. Maybe now we actually see the yellow rush. Just straight up, get out there. I mean, unfortunately for FaZe, when they push catwalk like that, they don't have a single flash, and they walk. They're just walking out there. When you're facing off against Shoxy, it's not going to end well. Nope. Nice nade, though, onto Michael.
Going to try. He really wants to get that peak, but Shocks and RPK are stacked up. Got the double set. Smith is ready to pounce. So is this a distraction? Jacob's got the bomb, and he's all the way down bottom and mid. Okay, the rest of his team are going to slowly come round to him, but Shocks and Smith fancy a peak here.
Yeah, they definitely do. With the Kevlar, it's not going to be perfect. Smith's not as effective as Shoxy. It's going to be Shoxy's time to shine, and right now FaZe are just like, were you really here alone, or was somebody else here to work with you? Yeah,
nice.
There we go. Good night, Shoxy.
Okay, problems. RPK is going to be the man that tries to stop them as they cross. Existence is scrambling to join them, but RPK at cars just getting picked off. He gets himself 1, though, but it's not enough to slow down the FaZe train, as Scream is the only man standing, and actually was the only one to pick a rifle up. He's got the FAMAS. Makalele already picked up those 2 openers, makes it a 3rd, and that's the danger of Makalele with a deagle.
And where was this on that pistol, right? They played that so well, FaZe. They all just grouped up and went up catwalk as a unit, as a group. Just walk out there and, you know, no fear, straight running as well, not walking, just moving together as a unit. And you just have to be efficient because you're just going to trade up, especially if RPK is the only man holding there. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's definitely a little frustrating. They wanted to get that smoke down, maybe pull a fast one on FaZe, not show anybody in mid. So now, I mean, you have Fox all the way back there spotting. He's going to tell his mates, didn't see anybody go past.
Smith is like, I'm sure I saw Easy doing this last time. Didn't work out for me, though.
I was like, you're going to try and use our own trick against us.
Yeah. Well, this should be a done deal. But Shocks has got himself an SMG, so let's see what he can do with his MP9. They're not going to be expecting this. He's going to be the surprise factor. Gets himself the 1 out there, but can't really deal with the rest. Shocks is still alive, though. RPK manages to pop out, while RPK is only on 24 FaZe. Whittled down to the 1 member, and Fox does come out on top, but that could have gone horribly wrong again. That little challenge, everybody down mid, no distraction really. I think they were caught a little bit off guard by the fact that FaZe were in such a, G2 were in such a good defensive position. 5 men stacked behind that smoke.
I think that was literally the last bullet in that mag for Fox that he got that kill with. Imagine if he just runs out of bullets with that FAMAS sprays. RPK with the 5.7, he's like, grin. All right. Now Rain, Mac 10 there. Not the best gun.
Yeah, it's not going to work from range, that's for sure. 4 members of G2 on A site, so chose to stack it with these pistols, but FaZe playing it a lot calmer this time around. 11-4 was the score they're chasing from half-time. It's completely doable on the T side if you can get a good roll going, and after losing the pistol and getting it straight back in, they're going to feel a little bit more confident now, I feel. Smith's going to get boosted in there, but it is going to be another catwalk push, it seems. AZ, Jacob, Fox, all heading this way. Shocks is the man that's popping up and down with that deagle. It's a turret.
That's exactly it. Look at that. Scan, no targets detected. It's just a slow push here from FaZe. They're trying to suss this out. They don't have any incendiaries for the site. They don't even have any HEs to try and soften up Shoxy. So they're just going to have to hope that they get this right with the flashes. Any flashes to lead the way? No, just straight run and gun. AZ starts off strong. He takes out Existence, but Shoxy still there. Shoxy and RPK going to work right now, and they're getting bogged down, FaZe. This is worst case scenario for them. They need to get rid of Shoxy. He's the last man here, and he keeps getting headshots.
Finally, the turret is removed. But by God, did he do some damage. 12-7, that was costly, and that's not what FaZe needed. Look at their money. While they are going to be able to get themselves AKs, they've not got a lot of bank to fall back on.
No, backs to the wall for both teams. I mean, this is G2's big chance right now. They're going for that big force buy. But Smith has actually got 900 in the bank. That's a little frustrating, right? Because you would want Scream to have a little bit of money to work with, get full nades. He's a little light. And Fox is going to miss the tag. He was going for the full-on gap. He wasn't even looking for the tag. He wanted to kill off Scream right there.
Oh, yeah, Reigns managed to pop out. Comes out on top in that duel against RPK. Did take a bit of damage, but gets away with his life. Smith gets a repeat with Shocks, but damage done. Phase of hit and run. They've gone out of there. Existence actually rotated over and Scream went to mid, so B was left fairly abandoned. Scream is going to push back in and make sure nothing comes through, because that is where FaZe are starting to stack out. Scream smoked out tunnels to slow this one down, and now the footsteps. Did Existence hear anything? Did they hear any skittering? I wonder.
No, but they're trying to do the best that they can to shore up the defense right now. Scream is alone, but that's a clever spot used by Existence, boosted up in CT. And Jacob's got that single smoke. He's got Rain to back him as well. Rain's only got the 10 HP. This is all going to be on Scream, though, because he sees that Incendiary come in. 50 seconds left. Flashes, Incendiaries. I mean, very good use of nades, but that's really, you know, telling Scream 2 guys at least are here right now, and he can't even get a single kill. Worst case scenario there. And nobody even pushed out mid for Existence.
Yeah, 1-for-1 trade was probably the best he could hope for from that position, just to try and delay them as much as he could. But like you said, once you don't get that first one, Rain also popped down, managed to get a little backstab in there. But G2 save what they can. As we mentioned, they were pretty short on cash, as were FaZe. So G2 absolutely need to keep a hold of these weapons. I wonder whether Rain's going to try and hunt them down. He's the man that's over, but he's only got 10 health. He's going to be chasing onto Shocks, who's got an AWP down pit. That's not the ideal situation. Yeah, there we go. That's pretty much how that one's always going to end 99% of the time.
Except that FaZe are never again going to leave a bomb prematurely. Never.
Yes.
Will they ever make that mistake again?
Never forget the 5v1.
You can almost take that for granted now if you're their opponents, that they're always going to try and play it as safe as possible with the afterplant, at least for the next, like, 6 months, right?
You would hope. You would hope.
Just go ahead and thank Snacks for that. Man, what is this coming out here from G2, though? Quasi? Yeah, Quasi play. All right, so at least they aren't going to fully commit to the buy. Because that would be a stretch. Considering their money, G2, that would be giving FaZe a real chance to close the gap. Now you just go for Quasi, you do some damage to FaZe, and you get a big buy in the next round where you're really going to be hoping to do some damage and lock things down.
Yeah, they've got to hope with Shoxy holding that AWP and passing it off to Smith so he can actually get something going. But my God, he's gone aggressive, and that is not really the play they wanted to use. And when it works, it looks fantastic, but when it backfires, it looks horrific. And where did the AWP end up? Okay, I was going to say, there's nades went in, and it's actually gone towards Existence, so he tossed that HE in to try and rescue the weapon. So Existence is going to take the AWP back, and Shox is going to rescue himself the M4. And FaZe 1 man up.
They've been very good about picking up these entry frags, FaZe. Got to give it to them. I mean, that is definitely something that they've been on top of so far, at least getting that man advantage and then not throwing it away. So perhaps that is Roban having a bit of an influence here. They are going to group up again. Very straightforward stuff.
Scream's turn to be the turret. Can he do it the same that Shox did? Doesn't look it. He manages to find one. Shox gets a second as he comes up with that M4 that he rescued. There's Shox with a second. And then Shox gets a third. And suddenly it is all on Jacob. What has happened to FaZe? They just got picked apart, which has happened actually quite a few times now. And there's Scream with the final ending finale. But how many times have FaZe come across that platform, the catwalk, and just got cut down in their tracks?
Because they get bogged down. They just don't. They either don't hit that headshot on Scream, or they don't kill the man in CT. But they're not effective in this. They aren't using much utility either. They're just throwing a single Molotov. It looked like. Where's the flash? Where are the flashes that are going to allow you to really push up and get close onto that site? Because so long as Scream can dance there, you're not. It's that line. That's why it's called Gandalf. It's like, you shall not pass. If the man holds, you're not going anywhere. At least they pushed 2 into Upper Dark this time. Now it works out for them there, G2. A little bit of a trade.
the rifle trade. Well, there's only 2 Tech 9s as well for FaZe. Remember, their economic damage was done 2 rounds ago, and they are feeling the pinch right now as they try once again to make this play. But this time, Smiths is holding the angle with the AWP. Shox is just below. Just got himself a triple from the exact same position with that M4A4. It always amazes me with these pro players how they can switch between the A1 and the A4 without any problems whatsoever, seemingly. Most of us mere mortals would struggle. But Shox is going to pop around this time. He is dealt with. They do drop down, and they actually take the site perfectly and Scream the last man standing. And that's exactly what they should have done a moment ago. Why nobody dropped down to deal with the Shox in the previous encounter. And they get themselves the perfect plan. And this is just that mentality of sometimes you've got Tech 9s, you just run at them. And it catches people off guard.
Fear.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it was a big buy as well for FaZe, but this time also there was quite a few more nades involved from them. Multiple flashes going out onto the site, really putting the pressure on G2. And FaZe just go jumping in behind that. That's everything right there. That's all the difference. So they should probably just be looking at more of the constructed kind of play rather than just going for this kind of free and easy laissez-faire, run in there and try and get headshots.
Angels,
because
yeah.
that really hasn't been working for him whatsoever.
Well, the thing is, when you look at players like Shox and Scream, if you're going for those aim duels, their players will happily take it.
That's all Scream wants.
Yeah.
Like, literally, all Scream wants is aim duels. So if you give him aim duels, that is a very happy Scream.
1v1 me, bro. Pretty much the approach. But, all right, what are G2 going to do to react to this? They've got a 4-round advantage. They are going to hold. Scream, of course, held that AK from the previous round, but they are going to go for the Deagles. We've seen them do work for Makalele and Co. We've seen Shox doing work with the Deagle as that turret. And this time it's going to be Scream that's actually going to go looking. He's the sole man with the AK. Not going to work out for him, though. Gets flashed up and backs out.
Oh, he decides to press forward, though. Now he's got 2 teammates to back him. Can he find the headshot? Jacob going to be able to back off. Scream gets the tap on an AZ. 6 shot. Oh, don't die.
It's like, stop!
That was close. That would have been so unfortunate.
I think he just messed his flash up. Yeah, he did. Tried to drop the flash down. Didn't work out for him. But with him backing away, they're going to be thinking, okay, let's try and push him. We managed to get a tag onto Scream. Let's try and get in there. Are they going to be expecting the Smiths and RPK duo? Predicts existence with the Deagle. Okay, you're in a turret position, buddy. Just hold the angle. Managed to land the shot. The first one, that's all he needed to do. Managed to get that one in there. And Jacob, he's going to manage to catch Smiths on the backstab. Spin around. Shox is going to push on through. RPK is going to get cut down by Jacob. And Jacob's doing his job. Stops the backstab. Stops any transition across the middle. Literally just cut the entire site off. And Scream, well, he's left with his AK once again.
Yeah, and not a whole lot of options, really, apart from kind of lurk around, hope you get lucky, catch somebody. If you can get a 3rd kill, that would be good, because at least you're keeping a little bit of pressure on FaZe's economy. I mean, FaZe, they haven't really got that big bank just yet, but the next round is going to be looking pretty good for a lot of these guys, especially if 3 of them survive. So, G2 are in a bit of a tight spot right now. They've gone for the aggressive push upper dark now as well. Curious to see. So the catwalk, would like to see them actually go for like some kind of concentrated cat pusher, or get that kind of like Shoxy play going with the op in mid, or Smiths, who does it as well. Just sit behind E-box, or sit behind headshot box rather, looking into lower dark. Some kind of play like that that's going to change it up that they haven't used yet, because they've gone for the push in upper dark so far, and it's not really been super successful for them.
Big round for Smiths here. You can see him sitting at the bottom of the board for his team, 11 kills. Hasn't really got that all going for him just yet. Not going to go for the challenge here. He's going to take it over to Carr instead. So, doesn't want to get too aggressive with it. Maybe not even feeling the confidence maybe to try and challenge Fox in that mid, but didn't really need to go for that duel. And instead, he's just going to hold the line. Well, FaZe are stacking up for this, though. Let's see if Jacob's going to take a peek. The flashes and smokes are going to come across, so Smiths and RPK are about to get very busy.
That smoke is going to go down right exactly in front of Smiths. Oh,
cut off
the wall. Cut off, and now they really want to catch out RPK, and RPK is like, you come at me? I'm not the one locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. He at least takes one. Smiths, however, is in action. Fox is going to win the duel versus him, though. 6 shot from Fox coming around that corner on that angle. And now, well, things get a little interesting here. FaZe, they still have quite a bit of utility on 2 players, so they have the choice. They can just calm down. They still have a minute, wait 15 to 20 seconds, allow for G2 to start spreading out again, and then just group up and hit an area together.
They have to deal with rain here. They have to try and push him. Scream and Shox are both looking in his position. The bomb actually with Jacob. Existence is coming around for the backstab, and I'm not sure Rain... Oh, he's just spun around. Oh, the timing. Existence, is he going to catch him? Yes, he is. But he doesn't. Rain going to get caught out, so suddenly advantage with them. But there's no flashes, no smokes for G2 to try and go for any retakes. They're going to have to do it raw and dirty. And Fox is making his way up towards Shox right now. He's going to find him, but Shox pulls out the headshot. And now Jacob all alone in a 1v3.
Oh, the insane level of frustration here. He's got the bomb at least. There's the flash. He really needed to go across because now he's going to get bogged down. He hits the shot, though. And with 6 seconds left, he's not JW. He doesn't hit the jump on the first try, but he's got the time for the bomb plant now, and he plants it safe for himself. So Scream, he's looking for that aim duel once again. Jacob going to be playing peekaboo. This is all about buying as much time as possible now, and Jacob just steps out and hits the headshot. Sick plays coming in from Jacob in the end. That's the kind of huge clutch that they needed.
Big 1v3 there. You thought, the moment you saw Fox go down, you thought, okay, Jacob, you're down all the way down long. You've got no chance in this duel, and just comes out, spins out, finds the instant shot on Shox, and then the tap down in towards CT spawn in a 2-on-1 cross with no smoke. You thought he's done for, but my God, as that just gave FaZe a real chance at this game now. Because G2, they're in trouble here. They're back to Deagles. They're going to push to the side. And again, this time Smith's going to get cut down. Jacob, the hero of the last round, not going to fall so easily. And takes 2 with him, and now it's just Existence and Scream left. And FaZe Clan, well, I mean, economy-wise, that did them a world of good. They're not in the greatest of situations, but had they have lost that round, it would have put G2 in a massive chance at winning it at 14 rounds. With an eco, it would have put them on match point, basically, before FaZe could do anything about it.
Exactly. No, that would have been them running away with it, flat out. They would have had this game in the bag, G2, had they won that. And a 1v3, man, that's really going to stick in their craw, no doubt about it. But Scream and Existence now the last 2 alive here with the Deegs. And FaZe, rightly sticking together at this point. They're just playing the clock and they're moving together as a unit. There's the buddy system. Doesn't really work, though, if you just get annihilated. AZ is just falling to Scream in Existence. 2 Deagles, and they're just wrecking this push.
The bomb is... Oh, well, okay. Hello, Rain. You're not done yet. Scream yet to find himself a weapon. He can see one just ahead of him. Nobody's there, so he's going to collect himself an AK. Well, he's got a choice. AWP or AK. He's got the bomb right in front of him, but it's Rain once again to peek around the corner. Gets himself the early peek. He drops down. Oh, Makalele's going to be perfect position for this. And they tidied up. Nicely played by Rain there. Just delay him, delay him, delay him. Give Makalele the time to get around the back there. So 13-12. Here we go. G2 investing everything in this. FaZe, well, you can see their cash. They can fall back another round quite easily if they need to. And their T side has been equally measured by G2's.
Yeah, actually, this is turning into a very close match. A little bit closer than I thought it would. Obviously, after the first half, I was expecting a little bit more of a one-sided affair. But now you can start to see how these teams, they balance out as far as the skill is concerned. Both of them making mistakes, so it kind of all evens out in the end, where we're having a real good match on our hands here. So G2, if they don't win this, it's going to be a tie situation, and then FaZe will get the chance to actually try and run away with this map. But again, FaZe default straight for them. Just spread out across the map, clearing out lower dark, making sure no push is coming up on catwalk. They see that that's open. Great. Now, exactly, AZ can start thinking about getting up here, getting controlled. So that catwalk is the key to this too, right? It allows you to go for that B split, for the A split. It basically opens up all the different strategies for you. And so, now FaZe, they're just taking this methodically, clearing every part out.
Shox has got himself pushed up a little aggressively here, actually, at the barrels. Smith is going to be joining him, but they're trying to adjust their positions. There's the smoke to answer. Smith wants to try and land one of those shots, and he manages to catch Jacob. I have no idea if he could have glanced on him, whether that was just a random chance shot there. Shox is going to dodge the smokes, but he's not going to get caught. Doesn't manage to get himself damage there. RPK tries to tap around the sides, but Makalele is doing work here. Opens up the side. Plant comes in. Smith tries it. You had to, didn't you? I mean, they've seen so many of them land over the last couple of weeks. Fine time for Screaming Existence to come around on the retake.
Oh no, and it's just falling apart here for FaZe. AZ and Makalele, neither of them have an impact, and it's all on Fox. Gets the first kill, cooked up the second as well. But Existence, he's wise, he's taking his time, he's pacing himself here, letting Smith get into position to attempt another idiotic jump. Smiths, what the hell was that? Fox is now in a 1v1 versus Existence, and now he can play peekaboo. Existence has a real hard shot to hit, and Fox sees him coming, but Existence will get the job done in the end. Saves the day. It's not going to be another 1v3 clutch, but Smiths, I have no idea.
He's been watching a few too many frag videos lately, I feel. It's like, Chris J did this. I saw it. I saw it the other day.
Just trying to go for that hero play, but man, I mean, ever since since they updated the hit reg, like you go for those jumps now, it's a real risk that you're taking. It's not for free where you can just jump all day and it's a really hard shot to hit because the models aren't lining up or whatever.
You're leaving your head right out there.
Exactly, and you got a fired up Fox who's ready and waiting. That's just not going to work.
Wow. So 14-12. What a game we've had here. Back and forth it goes. 11-4 the first half. G2 looked like they were cruising, but FaZe have absolutely measured them every step of the way here on the T side with some incredible clutch plays. What I was going to say beforehand is actually we've not seen FaZe once go through mid to B yet. This time they may well be stacking for it, but Shox and Scream are in a perfect position to try and read this play.
If they do decide to come through, just trying to get lucky there with shots on the headshot box. FaZe have been very quick about taking catwalk in these rounds, so G2 looking to try and capitalize on that just a touch. But yeah, I mean, G2 right now need to come up with something big because and here it is, exactly. They try and push forward because they're so light on utility. They need to make the power play. They need to get in there and get the headshot and the man advantage, and they do just manage to get it. But now this leaves them with literally one flash grenade left. 50 seconds, one flash. And Scream, no, it's not Scream. It's Existence who's stuck in a bit of an odd spot over on that B site. Scream is just now rotating into mid. Will he be able to get across? He needs to be able to get across to actually help his mate here.
A clever call from FaZe as well. They just realized, like, wait, I'm getting... Jacob's like, I got double push there. The B must be light. And you immediately saw Makalele, Fox, and Rain now all head over there. Existence was alone. Scream's actually managed to make the rotation all the way over. Fox is going to be the first man to get a peek. I think he just tagged Rain. I don't know whether that was Scream or Rain. He managed to tag, but Existence gets himself the first shot, but they have been finally cleared out on site there. And we also saw AZ get Smiths in the mid there. Now RPK and Shox all alone, and the plant going to come down in a 2-on-2 retake. RPK getting AZ. That's pretty big. They're going to come around. RPK has made the long rotation all the way through T-spawn. Shox has just got to wait for him to get in here. There's no flashes or smokes to play with, though.
Yeah, he needs to go for the shoulder peek to bait it. And that's not going to happen. So, Shox with a big spray, though, and now the pressure's on Fox, and he gets the job done, Shoxy. Sick retake playing off of RPK, just sacking himself in upper dark right there. That was all about the man at car holding the line for Fox. If that would have come through, would have been a totally different situation. But Shoxy, just a monster right now. He continues to dominate. I'll dominate. Maybe strong, maybe a little bit of a strong word. I think Michael is hitting a bit harder than he is right now. But
well, I mean, in terms of frags, yeah, but Shox, when you think of all the big plays that have happened for G2, there's big holds. Shox with the Deagle, like the triple he got while
high impact
Smith was holding it. Yeah, it's definitely been some serious impact kills by Shoxy in this one. He has played magnificently well, and he's going aggressive this time. He's going to get caught out. There's two in tunnels, actually. He's forced to back away. Jacob's going to catch him around the side. There he is. And that aggression by Shox not paying off this time around.
That time it's actually going to come back to bite them a little bit. Some additional damage going out onto Smith, who keeps fishing for the kill in mid, and he will finally connect with Foxy there. Foxy.
Foxy. I mean, well, he wouldn't mind being called Foxy, I think. Who knows? But Screaming RPK got themselves tucked
Gonna walk up to him like this next time.
Oh.
You guys can't see that, unfortunately.
No, the Foxy is. But here we go. Okay, two people from G2 here. Scream pops out, RPK pops out, but they've both been cleared out, and that's A-site completely now gone. Smith is going to try and go for the rotate through short, as is Existence. Okay, Smith is going to make the long run all the way to long, which is probably the wisest choice, but with Makalele alive, who has been dominating for FaZe, he's been the man that's been carving open sights. This is going to be a real tough retake at the 2-on-3.
Smith, all he can do is hope that somebody makes a mistake, and he just takes a shot there. What is this chaos on Catwalk? Rain just goes right over Existence, who can't adjust his aim in time, and now Smith, they don't need to peek him. The bomb is planned for Catwalk as well. Should be an impossible situation for him here. No kit either, so it's all about this flash to try and bait some kind of a response. He's hoping, crossing his fingers, but he's running out of time.
He's got no kit.
They actually peek him together, so they want to make it a little bit more expensive for themselves here, FaZe.
Yeah, no kit. He can't stick it, and Rain's just like, nope. I've done my job. We're going to back away. I wonder if he's going to try the wraparound and catch him. No, okay, Smith is just going to tuck himself in. So it remains match point for G2, but they are banger up once again. And this could well be going to overtime. Almost certainly now, I feel.
They're going for the force buy. They're going for the force buy. Questionable decision here from G2. This is just a risk, huge risk.
Yeah, they could have just held out for the final round. I don't understand it. Well, Smiths has managed to make it work. That's going to be Fox going down. He won that duel in the last round. And that's going to give them something to go on.
That's just a lack of faith in your CT hold, basically. Because if you go for the round of eco, then you have some nades to work with on the rifles, or you just get everybody with M4s at least.
Don't do it, Jacob.
Oh, he's thinking about it, though.
Oh,
He gets the flash.
Oh, my God.
Oh, sick timing from Smiths. He actually gets it right.
And Makalele's sat looking down mid thinking, well, damn.
Yeah, well, damn. I mean, they get the flash. They did it right, you know? Flash from top mid. Smith's totally blind. Anybody who'd have been holding close there, totally blind, and it would have worked for Jacob, but instead, just like, boom. Smith gets the timing perfect.
Scream is sitting close with a Mag 7, and they are coming towards tunnels. He's on the box. Perfect position. There's no flashes for FaZe, so they have to just go straight in and force this one. There's the flash going down. Scream's ready and waiting. Rain's going to draw the attention. He manages to get a 1-for-1 train, but Makalele takes down his distance. Shox just rushes on through with the deagle, quickly gets smoked off, while the rest of G2 all scurry through the window, but FaZe have yet to get into sight. Makalele gets another, but there we are. G2 clear them out, and they will pick up the Rain with an absolute force. And really, it's a game that FaZe are going to be looking back on and thinking, we should have gone overtime there.
How many times does it like come down to like 1v3 sorts of situations and whatnot? All these weird clutches going both ways, weird plays going both ways. Just both of these teams.
A great game, though. That was a fantastic first matchup. Just think of was it Jacob, the 1v3, Makalele coming through, Shox's deagle hold. So many moments all throughout that game. What a fantastic first one. Cash is going to be the next one. And actually, both these teams are not too bad in it. G2, of course, have got that magnificent B play. But overall, what a first great match. We're going to go over to the analyst desk to try and take us through all the craziness that happened in that game.
Thanks very much, Lee and Semler. We're going to go ahead and try. Halvor and Lauren standing by.
Yeah.
I'm a poet and I didn't know it, so I thought I'd show it with that little rhyme.
Stop
but
it.
anyway, that was just map 1, and already Lee has kind of said what I was planning on saying, but basically, we were treated to a very fantastic game of CS to start the game out.
Well,
Would you disagree?
So now it was individually fantastic. Like
Yes,
for a frag
okay.
movie, sick.
Thank you.
But if you're like a fan of like what's classic and what can be really beautiful like intricacies about CS, probably not the game for you. You know,
Yes.
like
It's quite
was it
opposite.
Fox getting it started? Did he hit 5 in the pistol to start with? It was either 5 or 4 or something
Yeah.
ridiculous. How many clutches went the way they shouldn't? And it's like these sort of plays don't normally happen because of kind of fundamentals kick in, right? But
Yeah.
it's awesome to watch, but kind of sad it's like, huh.
Well, I mean, one of the things that we wanted to point out was the fact that we were seeing G2 find more success on their quasi kind of weird buys. We
Yeah,
saw
damage
existence.
done.
Him and his deagle was. I nearly swore then. I was so surprised. But whew, him and his deagle was doing. He was doing a lot of damage. Everyone on G2 was finding a lot of success and taking a lot of weapons away from FaZe, even when they didn't have much.
Yeah, no, they really made the most out of it, and that in the end became a pretty big issue for for FaZe because you know they could never get an economy properly stabilized. And as soon as G2 get up to a buy, and once they actually finally crack that horrible CT side of theirs, and start picking up rounds, all of a sudden FaZe are just left in the dirt with no money to go. And it's even though they did win, or I guess they go around by themselves, it's still way harder to do that on the T side. Oftentimes,
Yeah.
especially if your opponent is making it pretty obvious where you're going to go. And FaZe had a bit of a tendency to push that short area for quite some time. Did you see that in that one round where Shoxy holds it off with the deagle, right, and with the help of
Never
RPK?
forget.
It's because it's happened quite a few times already. So they stacked up towards the side, even though they've already lost one member towards B, because they have that confidence that FaZe are going to eventually just come back here.
FaZe with the blinkers on as ever, just like
This one-dimensional side to FaZe. It seems that we like to address it. But one of the players you did highlight was Shox, and I think you actually
Sick
saying
game.
off air, yeah, he seems to be not only having sick games, but he's having a great start to the year. And I
Yeah.
think that's something that we're going to be very excited about, considering there's a major on the horizon. It could be Shoxy Evolved.
But again, for me, it's like G2's T side is like where I want to be seeing G2,
Yeah.
and then their CT side is like, oh, they've not changed that much. It's,
Oh dear.
It's weird though, because you see all these really brilliant factors working on their T sides. Like RPK's entries were absolutely sick. He was, wherever he went, he was actually providing really kind of imperative kills. Smith's playing very well as well. Like every piece fell into the right place there. Even Scream having some moments, maybe not as many as you'd imagine, because he is like meant to be that superstar player, but everything was working. But for their CT side, it always just feels like they're never quite in control. Even when they have the bank behind them, sometimes they don't seem to be able to string it together like a lot of other teams yet. Where it's like as soon as you see your Fnatic or your Astralis, once they have that bank beside them, even Envy, it's like, well, they've got that under wraps. But for G2, I see them getting it there, and they'll be like, okay, well, there's the full buy, they've got everything. It's just like that stringing together I find hard to see.
And this is
Right.
something that you touched on off air when we were watching the game. The fact that G2 are a team that likes to flash each other forward, on both sides, really, and especially on the CT side, which is not as common. But obviously, you do it, to get positioning at the beginning of rounds, that type of thing, which is where you see the pop flash for long, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you see the brilliant execution of it on the T side for G2, and then on the CT side, you see a lot of Humpty Dumpty nades that just fly all over the place.
I like
And
that
Nice
description.
way.
yeah, and all of a sudden things go awry, and instead of just executing as a team, because in many ways executing towards the bomb side on the T side is somewhat similar to how you retake a bomb side on the CT side. It's all about how cohesion with your team and actually doing stuff together. So you put pressure point, put the same pressure on your enemy at the same time to make the job easier. But on their CT side, we saw something that completely bungled 1v3 retake versus Fox, where Scream runs out all by himself. Then Scream's like, "I'm gonna be Nico."
Yeah.
Not quite.
We do see a lot of weird plays, that's for sure. But we do have to go ahead and take a quick break because we've got Cash on the horizon. They're already almost ready to play, and we've got to go ahead and disappear for 5 minutes. Before I do so, though, a quick reminder about the Score Esports application. Grab it for articles, news, and more, even stats if you fancy, as well as results from not just this league, all of your favorite games. So go check that out. We'll be back in 5 with Game 2.